2025 was the year of weddings. 6 weddings, 3 continents, my first shiny Pokemon, my first failed speedrun attempt, and more. On top of this, 2025 was the first time I ever joined a political movement. More on that later though. 2025 was a jam-packed marathon, so let's look back. The wedding circuit was my 2025 backbone. First, I flew over to Southeast Asia for my university friend's Vietnamese wedding via Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Our incredible community members OblivionNara and SpriteLady had their wedding in Warwick, a beautiful family meetup in Somerset for my cousin's wedding, then Mallorca for Simon's best friend's wedding. Simon was the best man and the efficient. No pressure, right? He absolutely killed it though. Then to the picturesque Oregon via San Fran for another university reunion. And finally a local wedding in southeast London for Simon's cousin. I think my formal wear needs a retirement plan after all of that. The one holiday I managed to sneak in that wasn't wedding related was a visit to Prague, celebrating my cousin's birthday, where I got to eat incredible food and admire the amazing architecture of Czechia's capital city. Now let's talk gaming. 2025 was a year full of incredibly different but amazing games. Well, most were amazing. There's too many to list individually, but here are the main highlights. The main 3 games I played were Star Wars Jedi Survivor, grinding the heck out of Pokemon Arceus to join in the Pride Guild shiny hunting event, and finally the game I obsessed over both on and off stream, Overwatch 2. The amount of improvements made to the game this year was absolutely phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Blizzard bring to it in 2026. I also gave speedrunning my first attempt and completely failed. Kingdom Hearts 2 isn't exactly a short game, and I didn't even manage to complete the game since I was learning the run and wasn't prepared for quite how difficult it would be. We virtually explored Japan through both Assassin's Creed Shadows, thanks again to Ubisoft for providing us with a key, and Ghost of Yotei, which I'm absolutely loving and still playing through both because they're massive games. My favorite indie game, aside from the incredible Clair Obscur Expedition 33, was Chants of Senaar. I'd never played a language guessing game like it before, and the puzzles definitely got the old noggin going. There were some awesome collabs this year on stream as well. We had a Streamer Survivor event that failed so hard it was never even published, but it was the start of something new and incredible. Team Connections was born as a result of the failed collab, but led to more collaborations, including Lethal Company, which we barely survived, and we've already planned a Connections trip to TwitchCon EU in Rotterdam next year. Between streams, I hit festivals and shows. We went to Wembley to check out the PlayStation concert. I went with Mollyflower, Reese, and Super Man. Later on in the year, we attended Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour, which somehow topped her first Renaissance tour. My voice is still recovering from that show. Love Supreme for the Jazz, where we saw a bunch of legendary performances including The Roots, Nile Rodgers, and more. We caught the brilliant Kendrick Lamar and SZA on their GNX World Tour, and finally 2 days at All Points East. The first day with Simon, we saw Salt, Chronix, and Cleo Soul. The second day with Molly, we saw the likes of Cat Burns, Jade, Tyler, and Ray. This year was also the first year I camped at a festival, but this one was slightly different than what you're probably thinking of. My friend Nickel and I went to Vegan Campout, an annual celebration for vegans and non-vegans alike, to discover the tasty vegan cuisine on offer from all around the UK, as well as talks from vegan advocates and performances from DJs and musicians. It was a fantastic event, and I've already got tickets for the next year. In October, we hit MCM ComicCon as the Atlantis crew with Dead Pixel, OblivionNara SpriteLady, and Callie. We also hit the West End for Phantom of the Opera and Stranger Things The First Shadow. This year we binged a few shows together as well. Demon Slayer was the best and kind of the only anime I watched this year. I've clearly been slacking on the anime front. The Last of Us Season 2 was as brutal as the game with its emotional damage. Star Wars Andor has made me realize how crazy and scary the Empire is, and watching the final season of Stranger Things has been amazing too. In cinemas, we saw Fantastic Four: First Steps, Wicked for Good, whilst not as good as the first first movie, in my opinion, was still a nice wrap up for the story, and Sinners was absolutely top tier. Oh, and how could I forget K-pop Demon Hunters, which we saw together on one of our movie nights. Towards the end of the year, we continued to take part in Jingle Jam and raised a total of £257.47p. Thank you again to everyone who donated. As you may have noticed as well, around the latter half of the year, I attempted to post more often to my social platforms with short form content. I hope you're enjoying them, and I will be continuing to do so in the future. On top of this, I've also continued to get my backlog content from previous Twitch streams onto my GoldKarat Gaming channel for recollection of complete playthroughs and full first impressions. So moving on from all that joy and chaotic gaming, there's something I need to address, which I said earlier in the video. I previously wrote a script for this, but honestly I found it a bit difficult to read off whilst looking at the camera, so I'm just going to speak very honestly from my heart. The long and short of it is I've joined the Green Party. And I want to be clear that if you have other parties that you align with, then it's totally okay for us to just have a discussion and potentially disagree on things, but I would love to be able to speak with some of you about things. I'm sure I'm not the only one when I say what I've seen happening around the world has definitely been worrying to me, and I feel like I can't really just sit on the sidelines, keep gaming and pretending that the whole world is a happy place, because that just really is not the case. I've never previously voted for the Green Party, but recently, especially with the new leader Zach Polanski, a lot of what they've been saying has been speaking to me, and they weren't even really on my radar before. And I think part of the issue is we have first past the post here in the UK, so it feels like your vote doesn't even matter, and that might be the same in the US as well. But why am I bringing this up now? Well, I've seen what's been happening in the US, and it's genuinely terrifying to me, especially at the beginning of this year in 2026, as I'm recording this through January. It's been crazy, and I don't want that to be replicated here in the UK. And I'm sure, like a lot of you, the current Labour government has felt like it's definitely let me down for sure, and probably many of you as well. So after initially failing to sign up to your party because of the whole fallout they had, I mean, I love what your party stand for, but they're a mess in themselves. I then looked at the Green Party as another option that's been around for ages, and yeah, like I said, just was not on my radar. And since I've joined, I felt a great sense of purpose, and I've really been enjoying the work that I've been doing with the party so far. I've never been a member of a party previously. It's a big first for me in 2025. So I thought I would share it. I'd also like to clarify that the channel is not changing. I will still primarily be focused on gaming content. However, I will, as you may have noticed recently, be speaking politically on stream every now and then when I'm in our Just Chatting sections. I really appreciate each and every one of you listening to what I have to say, and I want to just take a moment to appreciate the amazing community we have been able to build here during my 8 years streaming on Twitch and making content. So thank you, every single one of you. I really appreciate it. And speaking of the community, here's a look at the social statistics for this year. Whilst statistics are great, obviously, what is really important to me is the friendships we're making, the connections we're making. So that was 2025. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to hop on the Discord where we can keep the conversation going, and have the greatest year. I'll be posting more content to all of my channels, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you again. Till the next one, this is GoldKarat signing out. Peace.